Yeah, we've been discussing generative AI within our marketing team for quite some time. I think it's a really interesting tool, and that's really the framing I like to think about it is like the tool's only as good as the person wielding it. And so being really thoughtful about how it can best support our business has been the focus for us. For me, I think using it to help figure out the impact of the content and what kind of behaviors it's causing is a really interesting use case. We use our content across every channel at Square, and getting a really accurate picture of that impact is difficult, and making connections between behaviors and those channels and that content is tough to do with an analyst, and we have limited analyst capabilities. So I think using AI to sort through huge data sets to help us make those connections is super fascinating. I'm really interested in that. We're also thinking a lot about how we might use this to test content, because we are global. We work in a global planning and production process for content. A lot of the content is localized, but that doesn't mean it's always used the same way. Some of it's hybridized, and understanding how we can like test headlines in different markets really fast and easily without a person sitting there and doing it is really interesting for me. So we're getting the most use out of it in these different markets where these things might need to be framed slightly differently. The other part of this that I think is really fascinating is the kind of ideation of content using something like ChatGPT, maybe not in the way people usually talk about it, because someone smartly pointed out in the comments, it pulls from what is, not what could be. It's telling you what already exists in terms of content, and it's compiling that in one place. I think there's a lot of opportunity to find the white space, the things that people aren't talking about in these topics. And so that's an area I'm interested in terms of like ideation. I tend to agree with Kevin that I don't think can ever replace a great writer. Having worked with some of the content coming out of something like ChatGPT, I think structure is the foundation and the key to great content. And that's not something that you always get great structure from AI. So I think there's still definitely a place for the involvement in all of this, but I do think if you use it really smart and specifically, like you can get a lot of benefit and maybe break into space that people aren't touching yet. And that's really the goal. There's too much content in the world already. We want things that stand out and make impact.